Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another stream of Blue. As you can see, we are just literally entering the game. We will get started very shortly. Hope you're having a good day. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back. I'm not sure if I was muted before. Or whether I just muted myself when I was actually slightly muted the mic. But if you didn't hear me, welcome. If you did, hey, welcome again. We're just entering the game now. You all had a good day. It's been busy on my side, as always, leading up to the stream. Hence, I'm just getting into the game. Okay, so I left things off pretty much, or haven't really done much since we left off on Tuesday. I was away yesterday and I spent about another hour's worth of work in the game to get us to where we are right this very second. So we essentially have all of the metal apart from I think about 100,000 to build. So let's just double check that and see whether I'm right in my memory, because I literally haven't logged in this game since this point, or since Tuesday, so I am literally working off that. So according to this, the plastinum ingots, which are the parts we actually need, there's essentially about around 100,000, let's say, ingots, which they're basically a leftover from me upgrading these. So in realistic terms, we shouldn't really use them. However, we do actually have all the resources. It's only time that it effectively means that, like, we could spend that time in stream to show that time, but effectively it's kind of almost needless to do that just to show it on the stream. So what's probably better, and what I considered doing, is just to add the time to the actual timer, put a time that it would take to roughly do that. Because if I was to effectively build those items, it's going to take about an hour's worth of time in order to build those 100 ingots. So we could just take a shortcut and add the time on and say that's roughly where we are. So we are 31 hours and 6 minutes thereabouts. Caveated, obviously. So as you can see, I think I'm missing a couple of items, which I've just noticed actually. This one, military regulators, I only have 20 here. Although we'll probably have the rest of the base. And those things we've actually managed to get, those 15, we've managed to get when we've done the down ships. There is something I actually want to do today in today's stream, and that's actually treasure hunting, because it's not actually something I've actually shown you guys. And until literally the other day, I hadn't really done it myself, if I'm honest. I was kind of half aware about it, in the sense of like that you could actually go into parts of the deep desert and scan essentially deep desert and find treasure, which has a very slight outside chance of getting blueprints as well, and also some actual rare objects. So sometimes you get blueprints, sometimes you can actually get the item already made, and yeah, this is treasure. Now you can also get some money, and you also get, I would say you get pretty much the same things that you get from a down ship. The main difference being is you get less of it, but the one thing that you do get that's different to down ships is these gems. And the gems that you actually get, which I believe you can actually sell to an NPC and exchange them for something, which I haven't actually explored that part of it. So that part that you'll just have to wait until I get to myself, because I'm not 100% sure it is. But these Opia Fire gems, these are the actual items that are unique, and you only get these from actually doing the treasure hunting. And you get so many from every that you actually dig up. And effectively, one thing I found was actually trying to find a trail of them, because I couldn't actually, when I was doing it the other day, actually Tuesday, so after the stream on Tuesday, it's the first time I'd ever done it. And I found it hard to pick up a trail of where these treasure things are, and I wasn't even sure whether they're a trail, whether you just find one and then you've got to scout forever to try and find another. But one thing I did find is that, yeah, you literally, when you come across one, there's kind of like a trail of them that you'll find all nearby, and as you find one and you scan further ahead, you'll see another one, and then you'll just kind of further ahead and you might see like a couple more, and they all kind of seem to trail off. So it's almost as if someone or a ship was going down, and as the ship was going down, items were falling out of it. That's kind of like it is. It's almost like a trail of these pieces of treasure. So yeah, that was kind of a bit of a weird experience for me. But essentially, from actually the downed ships and maybe a mixture of doing a bit of treasure hunting, you can get these items. So the military grade regulators, and also the overclocked power regulators. So we've actually done that within the, well, not all of it, because some of it I've done, when I've been out, but I would say most of it has been done actually under the clock. So these items are genuinely, would have still allowed anyone else to have essentially still have got these items. The amounts obviously vary from person to person, so what I've got is not necessarily a reflection of what you would definitely get, but it gives you some sort of idea that actually, just as you're generally gathering these items and you've done your spice mining and you've had to hunt the down ships to get some of the other components, that you would have also got these other components alongside them. So it always goes back to my other point that sometimes, yes, you can buy things from the player market, but when you do that, you're buying very specific items, and when it comes to the long term, sometimes it's actually better to actually burn the time in getting those items yourself, because you end up getting all these side items that, while at the time you feel might not be of any need to you, later down the line they likely will. Obviously varying on how much you'll need them and how many you got during that period is all open to debate, because that will obviously change from person to person as drops are completely randomized, etc. So far what I'll do now is we'll build the items that we have got, and I thought I'd wait until the stream to do this so that you can obviously see what we have got. I think we might need to go back to the base though, just to get a couple of items that I'm a little bit short of. So thematic coolers, I actually have those back at the base. I obviously haven't brought everything back out here because I was trying to minimize the stuff I was bringing back out here from last week's grinding, just so that I'm not quite in the position I was last week where I was having to take tons of items back out again. Ideally, once we get the cargo container, we can just load everything in that cargo container, and I'm fingers crossed hope that these cargo containers are just huge, or that you can have several of them. And I can't see why you can't have several of them, but they might tie us to only have one, I don't know. But if we can, and they're obviously sizable, then we can obviously keep our stuff in that container, and things like all these components and stuff like that, we won't then have to be doing what I do at the moment, which is shuffle them between loads of different kind of containers that are base containers. And then obviously when we're trying to do stuff in the deep desert or wherever we are, if our stuff is elsewhere, then it's not so much of a hardship if we've just got that one shippable container that has everything in it. It's just going to make life 10 times easier, I think, for those like me who are more nomadic and not necessarily just living out of that one base, or they have a deep desert base as well as the Haga Basin base. I think we are now getting to the stages where a lot of players will actually have the ability to make all of these components now back in Hagar Basin, and because of that, probably don't bother with the deep desert base, at least for like doing the processing for. Again, I'm being a bit speculative with that. I'm just saying, well, especially now that you can take the harvester as well, or the crawler should I say, through the actual world map, there now seems like there's like less and less point in some ways to have the deep desert base, because you can take it back to Hagar Basin, and assuming you have enough spice melange, you can make all of these large refinery items back in Hagar Basin at full cost because you have that much spice. I'm certainly in that position where I can actually do that now, and so I'm starting to question some of these things that I've said. Well, you know, if you lost everything in the deep desert, well, do you actually even have to put yourself at that risk anymore? Is a kind of more of a bigger asterisk for me, but certainly at the moment I can still see plenty of players have got bases out here. Whether or not they actually put anything in them other than just obviously the monocopter and stuff when they're actually out here, I have no idea. But maybe you guys can fill me in on maybe what you do in the deep desert, and whether or not like it is that way of thinking, and you know, down the line that's what people may or may not do. Certainly it's what I'm considering doing. One item I can build is the garment fabricator, which is the tier 6 one. So I'll turn this off at the moment, at least, because I don't have the big 2 generators on. Each of those big generators, when I do switch them on, will generate 1,000. So you've basically got 2,800. It's still quite not enough power really I probably need a third one if I was to run everything simultaneously and everything switched on. So I did try it the other day to see whether or not, with all the stuff I've got up at the moment, that being with like 2 big fabricators, or should say refiners, because that's what the spice refiner is and the ore refiner, and with all the other stuff on, whether or not it would all stay up. It did, but obviously then there wasn't room for any of the things that are kicking off now, and these ones, unlike the tier 1 counterparts, actually do take up significant amount of power when they're switched on. So I think it's 150. Yep, 150 power usage. So between them, and I think there's 4 items altogether, or 3 items, 3 or 4 items. Obviously that's going to add up, and obviously with our death stills as well, which is rarely why that adds it up more, because these each use 300, along with other things that you may have switched on as well. Like if we didn't have these switched on, it could, you know, we could easily do it. But the thing is we always need water. So we're playing with that other kind of gremlin where we obviously need water. The death still's kind of like our main way for that water. For fast water at least, unless we are willing to do things more over time and over a gradual point, at which point we can do like the wind traps. But even wind traps still take up 150, so 2 of those wind traps, which would be 1 light death still, yeah, maybe borderline, maybe with the amount of power we've got, etc. So what I'll do is I'll go back to Hagar Basin, probably in our scout, because we don't really need that much, or do we? Do we need that much storage? I don't know. I'm trying to think actually, because this does actually have more spaces, so maybe we are best just emptying the assault ornithopter. I'm putting the bodies maybe somewhere. Maybe I move this. Actually no, because I want to keep this one here. We'll just temporarily move them, I think, for now. The thing is that this box is not exactly ideally placed for the death still, so it would make running between them with bodies a bit more awkward if I kept them here. But we'll put them there temporarily while we just at least go back to Hagar Basin, get some of the components we need. So I need at least to bring back the thermal coolers and some military regulators. So that's what we'll go off and do now. As you can tell, I haven't switched the timer back on because I don't feel that the timer now, once you build the items, like I could turn the timer on for us literally doing things like this, but I don't think that really reflects the time required. So I think we can cut this now at 31:06 as the kind of ballpark figure roughly that an average player may take ish to do it. An average experienced player. the game persona of the player. I'm taking a big risk, or actually not risk, but guess at what the persona is of our player, who's the average player. But I haven't gone super fast at this. I haven't gone super aggressive. I haven't gone slow either. I do feel I'm kind of like in the middle-ish. So the hours are kind of a reflection of that. Like if I was burning it, I would have done. I could certainly improve things, and that's what I will put in my final video on YouTube of how that. While this is a reflection of where I think the average player, or how long the average player will take, these I'll give all the points of which, like, how you would speed that up, and how a faster player who wanted to speed that up could speed that up. But I do feel that there would be there are caveats in all of that, even the speed up, and some of that is to do with like literally time restrictions, in the sense of like, even if you had to have everything cooking and constantly cooking, the calculations say it can't be done any faster than X or Y, because that's how long it takes to like process the metal. That's how long it takes to for like the spice melange to be refined, etc. So there are obviously certain restrictions that if you add all of those things in there, and you assumed that everything was back to back run, the fastest possible time would be X. Keep pressing on button as I almost wrap myself into some rocks. The finger and thumbs. Oh, and yesterday, actually on Tuesday, when I was out doing my treasure hunting, or I went out to do treasure hunting, I actually did find another down ship. And while I was out, I got a lovely surprise when I went into the down ship and got the following blueprint, which I was really shocked with. I got the Executioner's chest piece. So the only piece I'm now missing from this whole set is literally the gloves. So can't wait to either buy the gloves. Now I seen the Executioner's chest piece on the player market on my server for 400,000 Solaris, and I was actually tempted to buy it at the time. However, I didn't. But I'm glad I didn't, because literally it was later that day that I actually came across the blueprint. So I'm hoping again that the luck holds out and we manage to get the gloves sometime soon, because that'd be nice to be able to make that set. And also, I've also found out as well, like, some players, PvP players, also swear down the Regis Destructor pistol is the best gun for PvP in the game. Like, I can't say that myself, but this is what some other players have mentioned. And we actually have two Destructor pistols, but it's this one that's been most notably mentioned as the best one. So yeah, it's quite interesting to find that I already had that out as well. So sounds like I've got a good set of armor, and with a Destructor pistol. We've also got obviously the Doom Watcher, which is another mentioned gun that you should think about having. Got a nice sword now as well, so we are literally nicely primed, I think, to get ready for some good PvP, which, like, I don't think it's going to happen on this server because this server's too quiet, but I'm hoping, like, when server merges properly happen, that PvP becomes a thing that we can start doing a little bit of. We'll see. Anyway, let's get these thematic coolers. I won't take them all, I'll just take a handful, I guess. So obviously any I don't use, I'm going to have to bring back, so... I don't even think I need that many, I think I'll just take 50 or 60. We'll take a round number. Even though what I need, the amount I needed wasn't a round number, but it's fine. What else do we need? We need to do regulator things, which I don't see any in here. So we might have to go out and do some treasure hunting. Oh, that'd be good, because I said I wanted to do treasure hunting anyway. So, and as this is actually for still the challenge, then I will put a time on it if we don't have some stuff, because it might just give a clear, you know, it's just one of those extra things that just gives it maybe a little bit more time into it and says, like, you might still need some time on top of all the stuff you've done to still grind a little bit more out in order to get some more components, like the military regulators that you'll need in order to make one of your tier 6 fabricators. And it does look like I don't have any in the other boxes, so I'm just going to double check, because I sometimes do, like a squirrel, store things in random boxes. I don't like mean to, it's just, I think it's like speed at the time. I just think, oh yeah, I'll sort that out later, and I don't quite get to later. Okay, so we don't. One thing I do need to do though, while I just noticed it before, which I'm glad I did check all these boxes, is I do need to take a load of these back, so that we can make some more of those energy cells for our big generators that we've got now. And we actually do need quite a few of these pots as well. I started to think that these pots seemed a bit like the blue things that we keep getting from the underground places, the NPC areas, the testing stations. But it does appear that actually, like when you need to make those spiced fuel cells, that they do actually use quite a lot each time. So I think we might actually have found a good use of the byproduct from spice refining. So I've got that. Like I said, I don't want to take out anything I definitely know I don't need. Sure, we definitely don't have any. Doesn't look like we do, even though I thought we did. Just double check this box, there's no any in either. No, although I'm not going to touch it, let's just have a quick check. That doesn't have any in, so that's fine. Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll go off to out to deep desert, and we'll go and do some treasure hunting for the first time on Steam. Like I said, it's pretty easy, so it's pretty easy once you find somewhere. Is what I'll say actually. Getting started was the hardest part I found, but once you kind of get on the trail. Actually, one thing I will take, and I recommend you do this. So on my Scout Ornithopter, I do actually have a scanner, which I was using in order to initially find things. However, it would have been useful to have a hand scanner as well, because once you've scanned it, the scan doesn't stay there. So you kind of like have to keep going back to the Scout Ornithopter in order to be able to re-see the trail, where if you have a hand scanner, kind of just will take away that need. I thought I had a hand scanner in there, but maybe it's in another box. I do have a hand scanner somewhere. Is this the hand scanner? Resource scanner. Yeah, so this is what you need. I'm not sure if there's actually different levels. So you can tell I've not really used the scanners much, if at all. Let's just see if there's... I'm only saying, I just have a feeling there might be more than a base scanner. Because when I was doing some research into the treasure hunting, they kind of they recommended to do it with a friend and basically have one person flying the ornithopter and the other person stood on the ornithopter scanning, which makes sense because the actual scanner on the ornithopter has a cooldown, which I'm not too sure, but I don't think the handheld one has at least as long as of a cooldown. So it kind of would make sense to do that, but I kind of got it to work as a solo player, so you can certainly do it as a solo player, but having this hand scanner will just help you whilst you're actually on the ground. So there's the scanner, and it appears there is only one scanner. I swear when I watched the video of them doing it, they had like a Mark III scanner. Maybe I was seeing things, or maybe actually there could be a scanner in this. I suppose that's a possibility, isn't there? Maybe that's why I've seen one. Yeah, this is it. So that's the handheld life scanner, and that's Mark III. It's not the life scanner that we want. When we're doing PvP and stuff like that, you probably are best having one of these as well when you're out and about, because what this does is when you scan, it will show a little water drop of any enemies around you, or literally anything from NPCs through to other players. It will show them as a water drop. So when you do a scan, you see those water drops, and it informs you of like where people are, either an NPC or another player, and that gives you intel basically on where they're at and who's there, because obviously if someone's hiding, you won't know until they jump out, where if you use that scanner, it will effectively show them as a water drop. So there's obviously a life sky scanner there. I can't see anything that looks very similar, even as a silhouette, because obviously you have to unlock it to know that it definitely is, but it doesn't look like there's any other scanners there. And I would say there's no scanners in that part either. There is a scanner there. That's a long range scanner. Okay, so this one is actually better. Let's have a look at the stats on that. So the range of that is 225. The one we've got is 120, so that's effectively almost twice the distance. That's a delirium product as well. So we need delirium, which we've got, or we can make. EFM generators. I think we've got some of those out in the deep desert, but if not, I'll take some out. Silicon blocks we will be able to do, and a delirium dust, which we've got out there. So I might make one of these if that is the best one that I've at least got the blueprint for. yeah, I think there isn't actually any silhouettes either of any other ones that would be possibly a scanner. So I think it's safe to say that's probably the best scanner you can get for what we want as well to do, because obviously this is obviously the life sky scanner, but this is not life sign one. This is actually for scout, the same one as you have on your vehicle or the other handheld one, where you're looking for resources rather than life sign as such. I think there is only one life sign one, could be wrong. Can't see any other scan shaped ones, which would indicate maybe there is another one if there were, but that's like a disruptor. You can tell that's a helmet, I'd say. The helmet. Yeah, I'd be looking for something that's like looks like that as a silhouette, and I don't think I can see anything there that looks like that. So I'd say that the tier 5 looks like the best scanner you can get, and it doesn't look like there's another one here that would suggest that there's another scanner available. Obviously you wouldn't know what it is, whether it was a life sign one or whether it was a normal one, but if obviously it was in this group, then I would say because there's already one for long range like resource kind of scanning, then if there was another one in that area, it probably would be for life sign, but it doesn't look like there is, and it doesn't look like there's any in this one. So it looks like there's just the base one for life sign and then this one for the long range scanner. So I'll just now get some of these EMFM generators and we'll take those back to Deep Desert, and then we should have the stuff out there to make what we want. Again, I won't take quite that many, don't need that many. I'll just take 50, I guess. Suppose I should check the plan and just see how many I actually need, rather than completely guess wrong. But I can't see it needing more than 50. $18. Yeah, but we got plenty to make 2 if we wanted. Nice to have longer range, and then we can just scan directly in front of us and we'll be able to pick up a trail. Obviously you won't ever want to go too far away from the helicopter, because when we're on the sand, even with our soft step boots and our improved sand blaster sand compressor, obviously that will attract the worm. So I haven't personally attracted a worm yet doing the treasure hunting, but obviously we're doing stuff on the sand that will over time aggro a worm, so we might get disturbed at some point. Like, I certainly haven't experienced it at the moment, but then I have not spent a huge amount of time on the sand, and every time I was doing it last time, I was kind of getting back in the helicopter, lifting up, then going to the next part. And that might have reset the aggro each time, but if we spend more time on the sand, maybe we might attract the worm. You know, I just had a thought in the back of my mind. I was like, did I pick up that like spice residue and stuff? I know I did, but it's like one of those moments where you just have that kind of thought where you just realised you probably forgot something. See if we can land without putting the ships on, or the wings on, should I say. No. To be fair, we landed a bit better than I was expecting, but I fell off course. Weapons fabricator. I suppose the scanner's not a weapons fabricator, is it? Or we just go to the normal fabricator, maybe we can make it in that. If it's... You can probably actually make it in the... yeah, maybe... Because that's the normal one, so that's the normal handheld one. I've got a feeling you need to make it in the survival fabricator. Although it's not really surviving, but okay. So there's a long range scanner. This is what we've got here, and then there's the Mark III. So that's the life sign one. So here we need some silicon blocks. Oh, do you know what? There was one thing I knew there would be something. I've just remembered what it is. We might have some spice. We might have some of the components to make what I've realised we are out of flower sand, so we do actually have enough. I just need to get some water dropped. So we need to get these on. Let's just switch both of them on. At the moment, I've split the power cells that I have got into two kind of like stacks of equal amount. So there's the same amount roughly between the two, although there's one currently going at the moment. So it wasn't completely even when I split it, but it's close enough. Yeah, I've not got much water in my container either, so I can't try and feed water. Do you need to wait for these to finish? How long we got? 35 minutes. Okay, I'll tell you what, while we wait 35 minutes, we may as well go off and start doing some of this stuff anyway. It would be nice to have the improved scanner, but that'll be just down the line, I guess. So let's put these where all the other components are for now. Oh, actually, I had 96 already here. I just really didn't know how many, and I didn't want to like totally forget or not bring out any altogether and get out here and realise actually I didn't have any and have to go back. So we'll just probably have to ship them back later in the week or next week before we take the base down before the next Coriolis event. So effectively what we want to do now is we want to head down to the sand, any part of the sand. And this is what I initially did last time. So I came down and started scanning. Now what we're effectively looking for is there'll be kind of like a little marker that'll start to show when we scan, that'll hover just over the sand. And you can see at the moment we're not seeing anything. Now, I did this very close to where my base is, but I'm not sure whether you need to do this quite far away from the wall and how far out from the wall you need to do this. But one thing I did find when I was doing this on Tuesday after the stream was that I needed to be quite far out, at least in row D, before I started to see stuff. Now, I'm not saying that that's definitely the case and you can't see these things any closer to the wall, but from my observation at least, that's what I found. Now, at the moment, you can see that white thing there. There's like a marker that actually showed there as well. It's not just the flower sand. So this is flower sand at the moment, but there is also another marker that was showing there as well. Let's just change to that and just scan using this. That is actually flower sand. Okay, so that is just showing the very center of the flower sand. However, the marker that we're looking for looks very similar to that, just that it won't have the flower sand marker in the middle of it. That one I have just been cut out because I'm looking for that exact same marker. But when we essentially scan somewhere else where there isn't flower sand, we'll see something very similar to that, and that's the marker that we're looking for that tells us of treasure. And you can, and the reason why I thought that could be a marker is because those treasure things can show anywhere, even in a flower field or spice melange field. Because when I was doing it, I literally did come across my first one that was right next to flower sand. And you really need to keep your eyes out for these things, because like I said, they won't show up on your map either. So it's not as if you can scan and then look back on your map and go, oh, there are all of the hit points that you've got for, like, you know, these treasure finds. They will literally only show when you physically look at them, and they don't last even very long. When you scan it and one shows, it will only show for like about 5 seconds or so before it kind of fades and then just completely disappears again into nowhere, and you have to rescan again to see where it actually is. Which is why I've got the handheld scanner, because I was just kind of like positioning my ornithopter right next to where I think it was. And that allowed me to like kind of find it, but sometimes I did kind of not quite get it right and have to compact a couple of times to find where it was. Obviously make sure you have plenty of fuel doing this as well, because you'll probably need to hover quite a bit, at least to find the first kind of hit. Like, one thing I found is, like, once I found a treasure, it was a case of like then just following almost a trail of goodies and more treasure kind of hits, but finding the first one was the trickiest part. Scanner I have on my ornithopter, I'm not sure if you get a better one, but my scanner on my ornithopter isn't the best. It's I got it free, so I can't complain, but it doesn't have the greatest range. I'm sure there is a blueprint where you could get one that's larger and got a better range on it. Oh, there's it. There we got a hit. So see that? That's what we're looking for. And as we get closer, as you see, it disappears. But when you scan it and you're on top of it, it just looks like that. And as you see now, I found one, and all of a sudden we found more. So that's what I mean. It's like you find one and you'll find more and more and more. So the trickiest part is just to literally find your first one, and then from there it's just a bit like more plain sailing, I guess. Put the ionocopter kind of here. It'll slip down probably, and then we can scan. So as you can see here, what it looked like is this thing here. And now that I've scanned that with my hand scanner, I can see exactly where it'll be. So then what we do is use our compactor there, and then what we get is literally like what I call a bag normally, but effectively the part that contains all the goodies, and that's literally it. And this is all you do, just like rinse and repeat. Find your next one. And this is where I said, like, when I was doing it the other day, I was having to use the ionocopter because effectively I only had obviously the scanner on the ionocopter, but this is where you could be attracting a worm because you spend more time on the sand. So you probably are best maybe getting into your ionocopter every so often anyway, just to kind of maybe help reset aggro a bit. And obviously give you a bit more of a bird's eye view of like looking out further. But looking at this so far, there is one over there. There's two over there. We could go left or right, like it's here, there, I guess. We'll go this way, and then if the trail goes cold, we'll come back. Using my suspender belt probably not recommended, because that will definitely aggro a worm. But what can I say? Laziness. Put it in the middle. Yes. The other thing you will run into issue is because you get so many different items, very much like when you're doing down ships, you will run out of infantry slots. So, usually pretty fast. Like, we've not hit that many, we've already started to run out of things. So yeah, bit of a challenge, but trail continues over the dune. I'm guessing it's there. Yeah, I'm wrong. This is why it's easy to scanner. So I don't infinitely have to keep going around on the floor trying to find where. You also do get small amounts of metal as well, a small chance of that. Like you've seen there, it usually is just one or two pieces, so certainly it's not something you could do to reliably get a lot of it, but you know, you will get bits and pieces. one there actually. There was one closer than I thought. I got 5 pieces of delirium that time. And it's the process stuff as well. It's like not the ore. Although you can get all the ore as well. So it just varies. Try and put the heavier items in here. Like these items because... And spice sand because you get quite a lot of spice sand. Doing this, so you can do. Or flower sand, should I say. Spice sand. You do get spice sand as well, but more flower sand. To drop them now. Like, they're not great items, but sometimes you might get good items as well, obviously, as the chance for blueprints and the good tier 6 items. What we've got there is not good, but you can get good. I think I've seen where it went. Yeah. That's alright. Yeah. Still feel a bit nervous, like trying to empty my pockets on the sand. I'd rather just do it in the anaconda. At least I don't have to worry about worm coming. All the things I'm going to get rid of in a row. Pretty sure that's mine, one I made. Because I do normally have one with me. But I might just get rid of it anyway. When I'm on the sand next, I'll drop them. Okay, let's scan for some more. Obviously you can get to the end of a trail potentially. Although I've just spotted some on the hilltop there. Or the dune top. Three of the same gun. Doom in boots. I don't think these are actually any good. I just don't think they are. So I'll get rid of them. So I don't think they're what I want. I would need to keep. Oh, there's one thing I've just realised actually. I don't have much water on me and I'm out in the desert. Just wandering around. I don't think I have much water left in my container, so we might not be able to stay out too much longer because of that, but our timer for the water wasn't too far away, so maybe by the time we finish this and get back, we're about on time. So the advantage you have got with this is if you need flower sand, you do get small amounts of flower sand as you're doing this, so you, over time, if you're doing this significantly, you've got a dual purpose that you'll be also fulfilling at least some, if not all, of your flower sand needs as well. As well as minute parts of this spice up harvesting as well. So I mean, it's like you find one and it pretty much sends you then on a continuous trail of like more and more that you can just keep going along until you get to a point where you effectively just can't carry anymore because you've got too many of the small items. And then I then always kind of like conscious of whether or not I've, you know, if I did come across something I really wanted to keep, yeah, you'd have to start throwing it out if you like continue and not go back to like free up your inventory slots and stuff. So oh, there's another one there. So far we've not got what I really wanted, but you never know. Could be just one hit away. Actually, we actually have. Although whether we got the ones I actually needed or not. The overclocked power generators. I wonder if they're the ones that we needed. Well, we may or may not have what we needed. We're not too far away from the base, like 7,000. Like, not super close, but it's not too far. See this, how this would be faster if two of you are doing it, because the person in the ornithopter can stay in the ornithopter and continue to scan and find stuff while the other person's going off to do it, and then just picking the person up and then dropping them off to the next one. Did see another one which is just over there. It's just faded. So I turned around. It's just down there. I see one. Gonna land on it. like a marker, but is that marker for, like over here maybe? It looked a lot way closer than where I am right now. But it is over here. I think my handheld one doesn't quite go as far, so like that's why I probably didn't see it when I was handheld scanning. Still get those blue components even out here. I'm doing pretty well actually for Valheim, but as well I kind of realised from Tuesday that you do get it, but I didn't think you get quite as much as you get from just doing this. I might have run out. Actually, there is one there. So faint sometimes. You have to have a good colour settings, I think, set as well as eagle eyes. Because that marker there was almost blended in with the background of the sand. I don't know if this is any better when you're out in the PvP areas, whether this improves as you go further and further out. I've only so far done it in the PvE area, so probably test that on the weekend and see whether or not it is improved at all by doing it further in the desert. Very well could be. Fuel's low. Do I have fuel on me? No. Okay. Well, best go back then. Last thing we want to do is run out of fuel. Well, I do have the spare on a copter on me, so if push comes to shove, we would still be able to get back. But I'm low on water. Well, I don't think I have much water, if any, in my water container anyway, so probably best we go back now anyway. By the time we get back, hopefully the water should have finished processing and we've got water back in the system so we can make things like silicon, so that we can make the improved scanner, the long range scanner. A worm. See it though. right in front of the refiner. How much left on this? 6 minutes. That's not too bad. That's last of the water. At least on me. Drop the items. As many items as I've got in here. I think, let's just check as well whether or not we did get the item that we needed. Military power regulator. Okay, so we got the other regulator. Okay. I did think it had military in its name. I lived in hope there that we did get the right one, but that's what we got out there in the desert, the overclocked power generators. But the ones we actually need are the military power regulators, so we'll have to go back out and get some more in a bit. Not bad actually. Got quite a few pre-processed delirium ingots, which is always good. Like I said, you didn't get huge amounts, but like if you're doing that for a few hours, it'll all add up. So you could end up with like quite a sizable amount from just doing and trying to get stuff for what it is that you're actually out there for. I don't know where I put this spice on, the flower sun. Put it in here. Oh, there it is. I only want like processed goods in there, I think, rather than the other stuff. Keep all the raw materials in this one, and then the other container for processed and unprocessed spice melons. I'll make quite a bit of silicon though. It's not a bad haul considering we went out there doing the flower sand specifically. Turn it on and let it continue. May as well. Two minutes and we'll have water. We need silicon blocks for that. We need silicon blocks for that. Everyone wants silicon blocks. It's one of those things, it's always combat paste and always silicon blocks. I definitely don't think we've got enough flower sand for the amount of silicon blocks we need for everything. but wait for the water to drop. We'll put on the as much of the flower sand as we can to make silicon blocks. But 180, I think it's used 2 per one, 3. So yeah, that's only going to give us about 60. Always seems to go fast at like the big numbers, and then when you get down to the small numbers, the seconds, I feel like those seconds take so much longer than the minutes. Drop. It actually uses quite a bit of water, actually, 50. So we've got loads of water going down. It's more water than I thought it actually did. I thought it used like 5 units of water per process. It uses 50. Okay. It's a little bit more than I was expecting. Yeah, so I said 60, didn't I? It can make exactly 60. It'll take 9 minutes. That'll give us 9 minutes to get back out to... Just remember the bodies, didn't I? We'll go back to Hager Basin and get some more flower sand. But while we do that as well, we'll just put these bodies back in just as these drop. The other ones should be dropping this as well soon, I think. Pretty sure they're all around the same. 11 seconds, yeah. Quickly go and get another one. Double checking, because obviously if it is, if one of them were further away, then just go. Or if obviously it's right on top of each other, and we just fill them quickly before we go. And they can be processing while we're away. This goal goes back to the efficiency part, like, and the difference between sometimes doing things fast and doing things, you know, just taking your time. Because if you're just taking your time, you wouldn't be obsessed about like me, like waiting back and getting bodies on whilst we're away, because you're not worried about efficiency. You're just, you know, you get things on when you get things on. If you're trying to speed for everything and try to do it fast, then you're going to need to be a bit more mindful of your time and making sure you've got plenty of things all doing things, so that you're not, you know, you're maximizing your time and you've got everything processing and doing things that you obviously don't then have to wait down the line for things to be made or processed. And rather dark, rather weirdly. I'm only taking the scout one as well back to Hager Basin, purely because like I'm not planning to bring a ton of like flower sand out, because obviously I'll run into the age-old issue of having to ship it back when I need to take the deep desert base down. So it's a case of let's just try and take out not as little as we need, because obviously we'll always end up needing more than we take out, but at least not take out too much excessively that we then just have a massive amount that we have to haul back on dedicated trips just to get stuff back. because we decided to bring out like 10,000 say units of Flower Song. We are close to December as well, and at the moment I'm not putting the Christmas music on, but I will warn you, for next week there will be Christmas songs on, so hope you're all in there jolly holiday moods, because we will be ramping it up from next week with the holiday tunes. Which can get a bit kind of droning by the end of Christmas, but at least at the start of Christmas, it's good. It's all good. Before you start getting like bored of like hearing the same old Christmas songs on repeat constantly. The one thing I will warn you is all the music we have on the channel is all copyrighted. So while it sounds Christmassy, I did test it the other day, and yeah, they're not like things that you'd instantly go, oh, that's Jingle Bells, because yeah, that's obviously copyright. So it sounds something like, oh, that sounds very similar to a song, and not be that song. So my flower sand boxes are these ones up here. We'll just grab, I think 1,500 would be overkill, but give us like plenty of headroom for other stuff that we'll probably want to build, and that will require it, because it always will. We always require it for one thing or another. Might also get some stuff as well if I've got any here to do carbon paste, because that's another thing that we always tend to need. We don't have a huge amount of access of that raw material. Sure, I don't have any in the other boxes. Don't. I might have some in one of the other boxes. Just double check. That the amount I've got here will not do much at all. On there. There may be some in this box here, but if there isn't, then we'll just go. And there isn't. So we'll just go. I'm not going to bother going to the normal farm place to get some more, because I can just do that off stream. It's not something we need right this very second. Just something I probably will lean later in the week, at the weekend or something, when I'm making some of my tier 6 armour and weapons that I plan to do. I'm quite looking forward to being able to get the gloves blueprint hopefully sometime very soon, and I'll have the complete tier 6 heavy armour set, which would be nice. Improved one obviously, because the normal one's just like, the normal one's good, but the improved tier 6 one's even better. I think the normal one is like 300 armor, say for the chest, and the improved one is 430, so it's 100 points better armor plus, just on its base stat. It doesn't include the other stats, which are slightly improved on one of the stats, but also you get a higher penalty on, I think it's the dodge, so it kind of uses a bit more stamina when you use the dodge, but that's to be expected. You can always counter that with your skills that you've got. Fuel. I need to make sure I fill this up before I go out in the deep desert again. I'll probably take a fuel cell with me just so we can stay out longer. I felt a bit pointless this time anyway because I was conscious of us having no water, and I didn't have any water in my base either to fill up my container, so it was just a case of like, you know, we can be out for as little as long as we can, make this water last. Which in the night time of where we are like at the moment, that's good because it'll last a lot longer, but during the day when you've got the sun on you and you get the heat meter maxing out, the water literally almost evaporates off you even with a still suit. I'll make 200. That should do us at least for 2 more items. I think we've only got 2 more items to make actually. Anyway, actually no, we've got 3. I keep forgetting that I haven't placed down the vehicle fabricator yet. I keep thinking there's more, and I just can't think what it is but it's basically because I haven't put down the blueprint yet. Let's move this out of the way because we can't place it down while that's literally dropping everything. This on the roof. Obviously once it's down then you can put things on it, but you just can't obviously place down stuff whilst an ornithopter's in the way because it'll say, well, there's an object blocking it. Face that way or face this way? So I'll face this way. Doesn't really make that much difference, I guess, but at least you get to look out as you're there processing it. As long as it's straight. You know, I'm like, if it's not straight, I'll do my head in. It looks alright. So we need 90 silicon blocks for that. So they all take 90. Yeah, they do. So I'm going to need more silicon blocks per second than what I've got on. So let's put. Let's put another 100 on, I guess. And then that's 300 processing. We'll just switch these around. Let's get them going now. And then I'll do this one first so that I can bring the ornithopter back in. doesn't affect you from being able to use this. If you're wondering, does it like stop you from being able to use it? It's perfectly fine once it's built. It's just whilst you need to build it, then you can just carry on using it. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Obviously, it will animate in there when it's building something, but unless that really bothers you, it won't prevent you from doing it whilst it's on there. Yeah, you can either wait around for the next thing to build, or we can go and get some more flower sand, because I should be able to top up my water now and stay out in the deep desert until we get what we need. I think we probably might be best as well seeing if we can get some down ships, because we're more likely to get the military regulators from the down ships. Still obviously an outside chance getting them from the treasure hunting as well, so we'll just do a mixture of doing treasure hunting and down ships. What's my health like on that? That should be enough for that. That'll be enough for that. That it always does that. If you have these empty, and you pick up those items, it'll always put them on you. I always find it quite annoying, but because I'll be like, where's that come from? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. It's like, I swear I don't have one of them.
Yo, I'm still here. It's who I am. Let's go. 'Cause I'm a warrior.
So what was I going to do? Need water. Oh, battery. Battery. Might need to make one. Yeah, actually we do need to make one. I know I don't have the batteries. Wonder if I've got any batteries. Don't have any batteries. So we'll just quickly go and get a battery. Well, a stack of batteries from the nearby battery cache. Literally right outside our base. Do that. I'm sure this is bugged. Really, the nodes really seem to be acting a bit strange since the latest reset. I got my dreams in my palm, I gotta hold tight. I know my future's in good hands, I know my future's bright. I climb the ladder with my strength, I'm growing tall. Words will never hurt me when they try to make me fall. It's impossible to fail when you're already invincible. So come on, test me, I'm the greatest of them all. Come on. This the anthem for everybody who knows that they was born to be a fighter. 100%, nothing less. Let's go. Large fuel cell for a scout helicopter will last you quite a long time. So they do take up quite a bit of space though. That's the only thing to be a bit mindful of. If you're a bit sensitive to how much capacity you need. But I normally just store it in the helicopter when I'm not using it, and then at least it's not like taking up your kind of pickup capacity. It'll just then restrict how much effectively you can put into the ornithopter. But we'll fill it up now and then I'll put it in the ornithopter. Install the rest in there. So from pretty empty to full, it's used about a third, I'd say, probably of the battery. So typical, just as we get ready to go back out to the deep desert, the sun is back out and we're probably right at the start of the day again, or at least midday. So we're going to use plenty of water. Looks like there's some players out. rare occurrence of seeing people. See, there are still players. We aren't the only people in the game. No, it looks very jittery. So just find that first one again. That'll send us on the trail. I do think you have to be quite far out though. Like I've not seen one yet where it's started off close to the wall. They do seem to be about at least 3 blocks out. But I always scan on hope that we might see one closer. One. First hit. How many blocks out are we? It'll give us an idea just how many blocks you need to come out. So this is our first, second, third, fourth. So you do actually have to be 4 out at least. Well, I'd say like that's where you'll start definitely seeing them. I think you might see them within the 3rd row as well, but yeah, it definitely feels like they start just kind of close to where the border is with the PvP area, which is in row E. But this is row D that we're in at the moment. Rarely do with that improved one. It'd probably like scan it through that dude and you'd probably see more. I'm surprised if this is the only one. Normally you'll see something off it somewhere. Any direction. Well, my best guess is that the other side of the stream we should see some more. There is a chance that these guys are doing it. Like, I haven't actually seen anyone doing it before, other than on a YouTube video or something, but so I don't think it's like an activity that everyone's just doing all the time. I'm not saying that they don't, but it's not like flower sand or spice sand harvesting. It's like this is like quite a niche thing that not that many people are doing at any point, let alone at the same point. But it's also not impossible. And we've got some overclocked power generators. Awesome. Not what I want, but shows the variety of things you do get doing this is just as, I'd say, like, the same as like doing downships. You're just not getting as much. And obviously the variety of what you get from just the one hit's not as many items either. I swear I've seen it just directly in front of me. Where's it gone? No military fighters. One on this side and one on the other side. You notice though we're getting plenty of the gems, so what we will do towards the end of the stream at least is we'll go and see where it is that we hand them into and what we get for them. It was a long time ago that I watched a video on someone doing this and who you need to go to see and what you actually get for them. I think it's money, if I remember rightly, but I can't remember. It may even be a shop where you can actually have several items that you can pick from. I really don't remember. It's a long time ago. I watched a video on someone doing this. Closer, like fly into the middle. Hold up some. Oh, that's just the normal overclocked power generators. I got excited then. I thought I'd seen the military ones. You can definitely get them from doing this. And they've got even more of them. It's not what I want. So if you don't have the handheld scanner, this is what I tend to do. I'll park the ornithopter so that the nose is in front of where it is. And then I've got like a guide at least where to kind of hit, and generally it works, but sometimes it doesn't. Obviously a little bit of hit and miss, but at least it helps guide you roughly where you kind of last seen it. So you don't like overshoot it. I think it's around there. Just like scan just to make sure. No exact science to this. I'm sure you'll work out your own kind of method of doing it, but it's easy enough. You even get some Solari. Like, actually, first time I did this, I had a load of Solari on me, and I didn't realise at the time. So when I actually was looking for my stuff, I was like, I've got 15,000 Solari for doing this. And I actually realised that no, I already had 15,000, and the amount I'd actually got from doing this was a couple here or there. Definitely nothing to shout about. You're not going to get like Solari so far from what I've seen doing this, but you'll get like trace amounts of it. Heavy items in here. I hear a worm. Oh, that's why. Oh. It's gonna be eaten now. Then you can see it. Oh, looks like there's about to be a sandblast there. So spice sand's about to pop. We'll continue the hunt. Oh, I wish I'd noticed that downship before I heard the worm eating it. But we'll have to keep an eye out now, because there might be another downship, because generally speaking you do see overlaps between downships, so there could be another one nearby. They do tend to spawn in a relatively close area, so they won't just drop in the same place, but you can sometimes see more than one downship in the same place. Just depends on whether people are actively going after them or not, as to whether you see them overlap. If obviously they're not being targeted by anyone, then you'll normally tend to see, that's where you may see an overlap of two down at the same time. One thing that would be nice to get, which I haven't seen any of, is the spiced sand. The Slatium. Like, if you got those dropped, that would be nice. But I haven't seen any like of that. You do get like the odd pleated. All that top blowing. Yeah, it looks like it's just a small. There it is, just there. So that thing will disappear pretty fast. Blow out. Loud. Yeah, dissipate virtually straight away. So that's typical of a small one. So if you ever see one just literally disappear and it was just a blowout and the cloud disappears straight away, then you know that, well, unless you want to go and do a small field, then that's not worth really chasing after. Unless you just only rarely need, I'd say 500 units, because that's pretty much as good as you get from a small. was that military? I think it wasn't, but was it? No, it wasn't. It was just the normal. I'll tell you one thing you do get out here. You get plenty of the advanced machinery things. So if you're after the advanced machinery things, doing the treasure hunting is very good. So I'm sure that's the advanced ones. Yeah, it is. 7 of the advanced. So I have seen you get better hit rate on the advanced components from doing the treasure hunting than you do actually from the down ships. So if you're after those, then I would almost prioritize doing the treasure hunting over doing the down ships, from at least my experience. Just because the down ships are a lot less regular in some ways, unless you're hitting the same area all the time, and you're not too worried about the amount of time you need to spend burning everything. But if you're trying to do it for like trying to get them faster, then I'd say you're probably getting faster doing treasure hunting than you would doing down ships. I remember when I used to do that. Or I used to love these bags. Used to do my vampire hunting, as I refer to it as. Even if it's not taking up a huge amount of weight, it's like these actually probably might take a bit more weight than one of these, but it take up more weight than that over time. It's not right now, but when it does, then you can switch them around. Blow up. Still no more military things. Start to think that maybe you don't get, maybe you get plenty of the normal regulators from doing this, but not the not the military ones. Maybe the military ones are just reserved for the down ships. Or it could just be hot luck, and I just seem to be hitting the area that has plenty of the ones I don't want, and the ones I do want, I'm not getting the same lucky hit on. another blowout. It's like loads of blowouts. Drop some of these items. Hold button. Obviously do keep an eye out on what you are getting rid of. Don't just assume they are crap, like these ones are, but sometimes you can get an actual real decent item that's worth keeping. Just see this couple down there. I don't know if it's I'm getting used to them, but they are like very faint sometimes. Easy enough to miss. Luggage storage Mark 4. Like lowest level for a buggy. Sounds better than it is. Another thing you get lots of as well is fluid industrial pumps. Seem to get a lot of those. So if you ever need them, another good way of getting them is doing this, because I seem to have got a lot of those through doing these. Engine was up. Didn't quite see what engine it was. Mark 3 buggy. That can definitely go.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Oh, sandstorm. Typical. 2 minutes away as well. Probably not going to get out of the way of that. Where's it coming from? Oh, we must be right in the middle of the way it's coming across as well. Typical. Try and get out of the way. Actually, is that? Looks huge. But it wrecks my wings again. The last time we did this, I had hardly any like life on my wings, and I did land on that occasion. But I thought I'd parked the Onocopter and obviously myself out of like striking range of lightning, but apparently I didn't. And just as the storm was passing and it was caught on stream, the lightning struck the Onocopter and literally broke the wings. Never seen it before. And I was just mentioning as well, like if the like lightning strikes you, it can cause some quite significant damage. And okay, there wasn't like much life left on the actual wings, to be fair, but not enough that I thought like one lightning strike would do them. just close to the edge now. Might just get out of it. I think that will pass us. Shouldn't go any further than this. I suppose you can just go back to the base as well. Like, actually, it's 6,000 away. I'll just stay out. Should be alright, yeah. I think. Like, right on the edge.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Yeah, like literally the edgy edge of this will cause quite a bit of damage. Head out. Awesome. I'll be heading into it. I'm heading south towards my base, so it should be. Well, it caused a little bit of damage because the you can tell like the actual body of the ornithopter's not perfect anymore. So I must have took a little bit of damage. That's me pushing it to the edge rather than just getting clear of it. If I'd gone a bit further, I'd have been alright. Going along the way, see, might see some treasure. I've got a feeling we won't, but you never know. There's the down ship, so we were just a bit north of that, so ahead there. Should be back roughly on our trail, thereabouts. I've got like no speed. I'm never gonna get that without putting the wings back on. I think we're on this side of the dune, or we might be on the other side. I can't remember. Can't remember which side we were on, but somewhere around here. Oh, there's one. There's some. Big guess. Out there. Oh, guessed right. Another. I don't want to actually just check what level it is. Probably won't be decent. Mark 4. Didn't think it would be. If it was Mark 6, I might pick it up, but Mark 4? 2 items worth getting rid of. So now we're back on the trail. Should hopefully see some other markers off this. He says. Yep. There should be more around. We're in the area. There's like one ahead. Like so light. It's like you have to be very. See, it's like just there, but the light sometimes, depending on whether it's day or night, and also the angle, it doesn't always look the clearest. The more you do it though, the more you just get used to it. Did that look like military or was that normal? Oh, still normal. Starting to lose hope that we can get military ones doing this. We've used all that fuel already. Wow. Mid-air fueling. Actually got more of these than I was expecting and less of these. Yeah. Probably heavier, so you do seem to get quite a lot of them doing this, so I think I'll put that in the undercut at least for now, and if there's something else that significantly is taking up more room, then I'll maybe swap it out. Sometimes you see things or you just don't see things that you think you can see. There's one there though. Oh, here ish. I wasn't too sure if I might have landed on it. It looked a lot closer than it was. Power Pack Mark II. Wow. It's almost insulting to get something that low level. It looked like around there. Really far. Oh, the other side of the dune. Yeah, you do kind of get a bit of allowance, so you'd have to be exact, but it still isn't a huge like area. I think we'll go find some downships because we don't we've hit a lot of things by now, and I would have expected to at least maybe got one by now. But we haven't even got one from doing this of the military ones. So we're after the power regulators, but the military power regulators. At the moment we keep getting overclocked ones. We've got 26 of those, not one iota of a military one. So I'm thinking let's maybe head off into the deep desert PvP areas from row E onwards. We should start getting some really good, better loot and higher loot down ships, which, luck being in, you get the items that you want, but you also get more of the items, and you got more of a chance of getting what you're really after, although it's still hit and miss. So you could end up with like tons of things that you don't want, and the one thing you do want, even after 6 down ships, not necessarily with what you want. Depending on what like one area I have found that's really good normally is row G is normally really good for down ships, and the down ships that you get in there normally have some good looting, so that's my favourite row. At least it was last week and the week before. When we're doing this, when we're obviously doing treasure hunting, you do want to be quite low to the ground, because obviously your scanner will be limited on how much area it's going to hit if you're so far away from the ground. But when we're doing like the actual hunting for the down ships, we want to be the opposite. We want to be as high as possible to try and maximise what we can see. But also it helps protect us when we're out in the PvP area as well, because effectively the higher you are, the more safer you are, and that you'll be able to just continuously glide out at max speed, where if you're low to the ground you're a much easier target, and you'll also struggle to keep up with your max speed, because eventually you'll need to either reactivate your wings or gain height, and to gain height your speed to be going up and down quite a bit as you regain the height. The better ones to get when you're out in the rows E and past E are ones where the ship is actually in the dunes, so it's kind of, the dunes help mask you being there. It just means anyone then that is scouting and trying to spot potential targets is less likely to see you in between dunes than they will do when there's a ship on top of a dune and you stand out like a sore thumb. But you can still take them like I do. But just be aware. Near the end, so I'm going to turn back now. Also, my scanner's red as well, so I probably don't have much left on my scanner if I did want to do treasure hunting, so I would need to repair that, which I'll need scrap for because I'll need to then make some wire. And I also don't have the proper repair tool, although I do have a welder, the Mark 1 welder, which I definitely do not want to be like repairing with that, because it will really wreck the durability. You always lose your durability anyway when you, or maximum durability that being, when you actually repair stuff, but when you repair it with Mark 1, it will significantly eat into that even worse. So always try to make sure you've got max skills for repairing, but also make sure you use at least a minimum of a Mark 5 repair or welding gun. There's many players that actually carry them around with them, but I personally don't. Like, for my own needs, I find it just takes up resource slots that I personally find more valuable. But plenty of people do take both the welding gun and the actual solder out with them, so that they can repair on the go. I am being a bit more careful than I sometimes am when I'm doing this, because I have noticed reviewing some of my own footage back that sometimes I've come out looking for scouting ships, and on the replay I see one. It's so annoying when you see one and you go, why did you not see that? But then when you look at the replay, it's like I scan that fast that I'm looking, when I'm looking live, I'm looking at the far distance, and sometimes I forget to actually scan the near parts as well. And I've seen once or twice where I've literally almost gone, I'm literally right on top of one and I've not noticed it, because I've just scanned too fast, and I'm scanning the horizon more than I'm scanning like what's in the near. I really do scan around for possibility of someone trying to target me and sneak up on me. It's just like being streetwise. This is called Dune-wise. Or player-wise, whatever you want to refer to it as. It's just being very aware of your environment. So that, firstly, if you see a ship, you've got a good idea already whether or not there's anything, or what potential dangers are around you. Like, I've seen a worm already go past. Apart from the players that we've seen before, I've not seen any players so far out here, but I wouldn't say it's like super rare on my server not to see anyone around, but it's certainly, I can go sometimes with weeks without even seeing a soul in the deep desert. And if I do see people, it's generally more in the PvE areas than the PvP areas. I've like very rarely see anyone in the PvP areas.
Look on the bright side, I'm taking it high. Look in the bright light, I'm losing my sight. I'm keeping it burning, I'm harder than ice. I'm climbing the high rise, I'm sick of this high.
But so far, no look. She's just stuck with the treasure and the only down ship I've seen so far is the one that literally only spotted because the worm was about to eat it.
It's getting hot. I'm making a sign, pick it up. I'm sticking my fingers and won't drop. I'm feeling the heat and I can't stop.
Long way out from the base. We must be near the back wall. Yeah, not too far away from it. None of these big fields are populated. I haven't seen one with sand on it yet. We'll be getting quite close to the wall because my base is in line. Well, it's only one block away from the far east wall, so I'd imagine we're not too far from that wall now. One block away. There could be a ship out in that block. In fact, because I'm not going there, there probably will be. This dude dominating and then I'm going. Let's go south. Some weeks you have like more down ships out in the PvP, like deep desert areas, and then other times you'll see more closer to the wall. It's just it partially pot luck as to whether or not how they all spawn that week, because obviously it all randomizes. So where these all down and stuff, they generally happen in certain areas, and obviously if you get them in the deeper desert, you've got a much greater chance of getting better loot from them and better blueprints. But you can also get these blueprints in the like down ships that are right on the top of the wall, so it's just numbers, really, a numbers game. The more numbers you've got, the greater chance you have of getting whatever it is you're after. It was daytime when we've done. We got like none. Can't see any. To be fair, we are a bit low. Could get higher really. Shit. Delky's come off the beat something. Should try and stay around here. We're in a PvP area, so I shouldn't really stay still for too long. So we're just encouraging someone to shoot at me. So just to see if there's a ship there nearby still. Like one ship is a good sign there's another one close by. Oh, that is annoying. Even if I'd spotted it, it would have been here by the way before I'd have got to it. Annoying though. Should note where that was though. There's a good chance F9. Good chance you'll see another one there. On that area, you'll see them spawn. So it's a future week note. Even though I put a marker there, that marker won't last by the time I log out. Or even come out of here and come back in, it'll disappear, that marker. Back in the safe zone. Now we did actually see a downed ship before, which was not far from that downed ship, which I did somewhere. Find where that permanently down ship was. That ship that we seen getting eaten by the worm. That wasn't too far from that. Might be able to find where the new one spawns or comes down. Definitely have better days and bad days of doing it. Today's definitely not one of those good days. Today feels like one of those days where it's like, James, just go home. Your luck's not in today, mate. There's that permanently down ship. So I'm feeling where that other down ship was somewhere in this area. the southwest of it, so where we are now, heading. Might see one. Looking at where our map is kind of gives us some clues to where we've been. Could be down more south. I'm hoping like if I do even get one down ship that it just has what I need. High mark at the moment on my server is not dead, but I've got zero chance of being able to fly these components. We're gonna get anywhere. We'll do the ode. Let's go back to base check and see if we come across one. That normally works. This is a normally tried and trick. It's like the server hears what I'm saying and feel sorry for me. It starts spawning them as on my route home. As long as it doesn't spawn one on me. I very much doubt we're going to get one. Unless it just miraculously pops up in front of us. Come on. Pop one up. I'm almost on top of the wall now as well. I'm getting less and less likely to be able to see one. If I review today's video and I see one, I'm going to go mental on myself. It's like, why did I not see it?